Sasq-watch is a Bigfoot comedy, and for the most part, comedies featuring the big guy fall flat. But looking at the cast, there's some real talent here. Neil Flynn, Adam Hirschman, and Tim Meadows, all actors I've seen in other stuff. But is good acting all you need to make a successful Sasquatch comedy? Let's find out.
Sasquatch, Sasquatch, won't you come on down?
It opens up telling us about a guy named Damien Hogel, who set out to find proof of a large hairy hominid living in the forests around the world. Well, he failed to do so, but in his honor, his family set up the Damien Hogel Foundation and offered $500,000 to anyone who can provide conclusive evidence of the creature. A hefty reward, and one that Nigel and his brother Oscar intend on receiving. You see, when they were kids, they saw the creature in their backyard, and ever since then, Nigel has been obsessed with it. Nigel goes on to say that winning the Damien Hogel Award is a dream for him, not only for the money, but for the fame that would go along with it. But there is some bad news. It's going to be discontinued soon, so he doesn't have much time left if he wants to win the prestigious award. Luckily, by stretching the truth a little bit, they managed to get a grant for $10,000, and their first purchase is a camera, which they're going to need if they plan on getting evidence. They load up the car with everything they would need for a trek out into the woods and head out on the trip of a lifetime. At the start of day one, they get to Chuck's campground that offers a guide into the wilderness. The most notable thing here is that we meet Jamie. How does such a hot chick know these two nerdy guys? Well, it turns out that the brothers had a best friend named Todd. They would LARP together and do all kinds of nerdy stuff together. Well, Jamie is Todd's sister. There you go. That's how she knows him. Why doesn't Todd just come out with them? Well, he died in an unfortunate jousting accident. Anyway, the guys show up late, so they lost their guide. That's okay. There's still one left, Samson.
Every guide in town's already booked.
Not Samson.
No, not Samson.
They go to meet him, and Samson's played by Neil Flynn. Most people know him as the janitor from Scrubs.
Can I talk to you for a second?
No, I'm busy cleaning. That one always kills.
He's a rough, tough, ex-military kind of dude, which is what you would want for a survival guide. But he tells them that they're going to need a fourth person, someone to carry all their gear. Who would be available to do such a task? Well, none other than Jamie, much to her chagrin. However, if she doesn't go along with the boys, her dad won't pay next year's tuition. So she's kind of stuck with the job. The four of them head out and gather up their things at the trailhead when we meet Klaus, played by Tim Meadows.
I want my baby back, baby back, baby back. I want my baby back, baby back, baby back. I want my baby back.
Klaus and Nigel hate each other. It all boils down to Klaus stealing Nigel's Sasquatch migration data, which I guess was a close secret. Well, from the looks of it, Klaus has had some success in the Bigfoot community, while Nigel was left in the dust. Klaus offers to team up with the group, but that's out of the question. Now, it's a race to see who can find Bigfoot first. At the end of day one, the guys realize that they have some hardships ahead of them, but are still pretty optimistic. Now on to day two, and Nigel tells us more about his sighting in the backyard and how it changed his life.
We saw the Sasquatch. It was the most magical experience of my life.
They continue hiking to grand music and magnificent views until they get to the perfect camping spot. This is where they'll set up base camp. Nigel explains why this spot is the spot, And it all boils down to the sightings in the area. He's seen a pattern where in the summer you have more sightings in the eastern highlands, and in the winter the creature is seen in the western lowlands. In the spring, they migrate to the other side, and that's exactly where they're camping, the migration point. The plan is to capture the creature alive, using bait with highly secretive ingredients.
It's cat food and blueberries.
Basically, what will happen here is Sasquatch will eat the bait, which triggers a bell, which triggers a net, and voila, captured Bigfoot. When they demonstrate this trap in action, well, I don't think it's gonna work. That's okay. Samson is a crack shot. If they actually do see something, he can shoot it with a tranquilizer dart. Is he a good shot? Well, as he says,
I could hit a cat's poop hole on the moon.
the bulk of day 2 is pretty boring.
Nothing.
We go back and forth from Nigel's group to Klaus's group, cracking various jokes as we go. Some hit, most miss. We do learn that Samson believes in the creature and actually has a motive for being out here. One night, he saw Bigfoot going through his trash. He went out to investigate, and the beast knocked him out and pantsed him.
I want to stuff and mount the Sasquatch, because he pantsed me.
He woke up the next morning with his pants down around his ankles, embarrassed.
The Sasquatch pantsed you.
He's carving his revenge story on a bat that he plans on using on the creature. Later on, Nigel can't find his camera, and all the food is
It was right
missing.
here with my bag.
Klaus must have snuck over and stole it. So now the group splits up. Oscar and Jamie stay back at the camp, while Samson and Nigel go after Klaus. And it doesn't take long for Samson to realize that he's better off without Nigel. So he leaves him behind to hunt for food, which, unsurprisingly, he's not very good at.
Oh.
It doesn't take long for Nigel to get lost, and he uses a Sasquatch mating call to get Samson's attention. But instead, Oscar hears it, and he fires the tranquilizer at his brother. Oops. At this point, things are looking pretty grim, and hope for finding Bigfoot is fading. And that's when Oscar drops a bombshell on Nigel.
It was Dad.
The Bigfoot sighting that they had when they were younger,
It was
the
Dad
thing
in
that
the
has
suit.
shaped his
He
life
bought it
and
for a furry
career,
party.
was his dad in a furry costume.
You're-
Needless to say, Nigel takes
you're
this
joking,
news
right?
pretty hard, and he takes off, running anywhere away from his brother, who kept his secret all these years. He ends up in Klaus's camp, and he invites him into his space tent.
Nigel, why don't you come in and have a seat?
Inside, we learn that Klaus has given up on finding evidence too, and he wants to resort to setting up a hoax to win the Damien Hogel Award. But Nigel won't do it. Even knowing that his one and only sighting was a phony, he still can't work with Klaus. So he books it out of there and takes off into the woods, only to run smack dab into a tree. Jamie and Oscar finally make their way out of the woods and into a park, which didn't seem to be that far from where they were camping. A family is there having a picnic, and seeing how neither one of these guys has eaten a good meal in a few days, they start scarfing it down. Honestly, I don't blame them. Eventually, they are picked up by a ranger, and they find Nigel just sitting there on the side of the road. The brothers talk it out and eventually are best friends again. As they walk to join Jamie, Oscar spots something on the camera. Some pictures that weren't there before. They take these photographs to the Damien Hogel committee, who aren't impressed. The brothers claim that Sasquatch took the pictures himself. Obviously, they don't believe him, but that's okay. Nigel and Oscar know the truth, that Bigfoot is real, and apparently, he knows how to use a camera.
I guess some people will be skeptics no matter what you show them.
To wrap things up, we see that Klaus's assistants have left him to his own devices out in the woods, and he's definitely not used to roughing it. We see Samson, who wakes up with his pants pulled down, and the story on his bat is filled in. It seems like Sasquatch got him again.
Sasquatch, Sasquatch.
And that was Sasquatch. Let's go back to that question I asked in the beginning. Is good acting all you need for a successful comedy? Well, no, you need a lot more than that. And unfortunately, the writing is where Sasquatch falls flat. Most of the jokes are too dumb and sometimes annoying. We get it. Jamie doesn't want to be here. Move on. I say most jokes fall flat, however, because I do have to admit, I did chuckle a few times. If you're able to turn off the cynical part of your brain and enjoy high school level humor, you'll get a kick out of it too. The camera and cinematography are all top notch. As mentioned, the acting was great and the music fits the mood. It's just the dumb writing that pulled everything else down. I do wish that they would have seen Bigfoot for real or even get a glimpse of something, but that didn't happen, so the dad dressed up in a furry suit is the closest we're going to get. Do I recommend Sasquatch? That's a tough one. There are better, but there are worse too. It's somewhere in the middle. If you're able to turn off your brain and just watch a dumb movie, you'll get a laugh or two. I give Sasquatch 2 cat food bait traps out of 4.
I guess you could say Nigel's kind of a hero to me. He's like Lance Armstrong, the first man on the moon. Everyone said he was crazy and that he couldn't go to the moon, and then he did it anyways.
You mean Neil Armstrong?
Yeah, and I'm like his Buzz Lightyear.